we have something special in store for you all. Again, you heard me say earlier that we have or maybe I didn't say it, I'm not even sure, my personal naturopath herbalist, my holistic practitioner, anyone that has sat with me in any type of coaching session or webinar, you all know that I'm a big proponent on understanding the connection between the mind, body, and the mind, body, soul connection in terms of your health. And listen, there are situations where we all need to go to the doctor. I'm not saying don't go to the doctor, but I am um, a big proponent of holistic wellness. That's why my practice is life and wellness coaching, because the information that I get, I share it. The information that I'm coached in or taught myself, I share it. And we're living in a day right now, as you can see with COVID, that the money is in the treating of the symptoms and not making the cure. The money, I'm going to say that again, the money is in the treating of the symptoms and not in the cure. And so the powers that be, if you will, they don't want to cure any illnesses, whether it's diabetes, whether it's high blood pressure, whatever it may be. And I'm telling you, I started going to Dr. Well, we call him Dr. Nazaire, but I started going to Jacqueline Nazaire because he's a doctor in his own right. He may not be a PhD, but he is a doctor and well at what he does. I'm going to read his bio in a minute, but my personal experience of him, I have referred many people to him. And ladies, I definitely want you to just open yourselves up, because when we start to talk about anything other than medicine, westernized medicine, many people tend to turn their ear off because we've become so accustomed to going to medical doctors and what have you. That's why I wanted to give the balance a little bit. We had a medical doctor on, and now we're going to have a holistic practitioner on. He is a kinesiologist. If you don't know what that is, you definitely want to know what that is. You definitely want to get into that. You definitely want to hear what it is that he has to say. And I used to go to his predecessor by the name of Dr. Joe. We called him Dr. Joe. And in actuality, my pastor was Dr. Joe's patient, if you will, client, if you will. And she brought him to our church and had Dr. Joe talk to our church about holistic approach to wellness and taking care of your bodies. And then after some years, Dr. Joe retired and moved back to Haiti, and Dr. Nazaire, and I'm going to give him that acknowledgement because to me, that's what he is. He took over, and he is a blessing. I'll tell you this. He's able to, he'll probably tell you this, but he's able to, your body will tell him what's going on with you. And y'all know I don't play, it's not about no witchcraft or any of that. The body will speak to you if you listen. And the body will tell him through kinesiology, he listens to the body and it will tell him what's wrong. Even when I was with Dr. Joe, there was a certain diagnosis, that a certain thing that I was experiencing, too much aluminum in the body, or I was having endometriosis or what have you. And he was able to look into my eyes through iridology, and he was able to tell me what was going on in terms of me having battles with endometriosis at that time. And so, good stuff. And so I'm going to do his bio very quickly, and then he's going to come on screen. So Jacqueline Nazaire is a naturopathic herbalist. He has been practicing herbal medicine for about 12 years using a technique called body talk and kinesiology. Jacqueline Nazaire believes that the human body is unique in such a way that it can heal itself. However, it has to be balanced on a physical, emotional, and spiritual level. Over the years, Jacqueline Nazaire
Good morning, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you, Yolanda, for the warm welcome. and thank you for the opportunity to address to address the ladies in the Metamorphosis conference. My name is Jacqueline Nazaire. I am a naturopathic herbalist. I am not a medical doctor. We have to say that from the start. And a lot of the things I will be talking to you, sharing with you this morning is simply my opinion and based on my practice. Like Yolanda mentioned in the bio, I've been studying um, kinesiology, body talks for about 12 years. And I've been blessed enough to help a lot of individuals, with their health. Having said that, today we're going to talk about, you know, health, right? So when we talk about health, you can't just look at health in one aspect or two aspects. You have to look at it as a whole. And what I mean by that whole is you have to look at the physical aspect. You have to look at the soul aspect, and obviously the body aspect. Um, so when we're talking about the spiritual aspect, first and foremost, let me just say that we are spiritual beings. At first, if before I get into my presentation, I want to talk about that aspect. I want to talk that that aspect of you being a spiritual being, so you could actually understand some of the things that we're gonna share with you later on. So the you know I am a man of God. First and foremost, let me say that. I I believe in the scriptures. And in Genesis, God created man. The Genesis talks about Genesis 1, verse 26 and 27. God, when God talks about that, He created men in His own image, right? So God Himself is a spiritual being. So if we are created in God's image, so therefore we also are spiritual being. And the fact that we're a spiritual being, a lot of things, a lot of diseases, a lot of things that we're going through, that affect us on a physical level, it starts in a spiritual realm. Also, the scriptures talk about that. We're not fighting against flesh and blood, but against. Hi, Yolanda, you back? I see.
Hi, we're having some technical difficulties. I even lost sound myself, and you're sounding a little staticky. So we really want the viewers to hear what it is you're saying. So
Mhm.
I'm gonna continue with your bio. We'll have you disconnect, restart, and come back to us. Okay?
So log off and come back.
Yes, please.
Okay, all right.
So, ladies, I'm so sorry about that. Let me just finish his bio. Again, these things happen, but thank you guys for sticking it out with us. So let me just finish his bio. I had to go and hard connect myself. So Jacqueline, as I was saying, over the years, Jacqueline Nazaire has helped over thousands of clients with all types of disease and issues by using body talks and kinesiology techniques and addressing the abnormalities that affect them on a physical, emotional, and spiritual level. Jacqueline Nazaire has an herbalist certification and has earned all the tanning and credentials, the training, and credentials from Trinity School of Natural Health. What makes him unique and different is his God-given gift of healing. And again, ladies, I'm telling you, you are certainly in for a treat. He was about to go into something that I say often when I'm speaking. We are spiritual beings having an earthly experience. And it's important to understand our spiritual connection, and how, like with what we've been talking about over the past few days, we really got into it last night, how the body can hold on to different things and it manifests I'm sorry, how we, have stressors in our minds, and we have traumas that we've experienced over the years. And then it manifests into our body, sometimes as cancer, sometimes as migraine, sometimes as other illnesses. It manifests in the body. And so, again, a person like a Dr. Nazaire is definitely somebody that we need. That's somebody that we need. And again, my experience with him and others, I've seen others that have gone to him, and you know, I'm telling you, it's amazing. Like, they're amazed, and I promise you, we're gonna put his. I believe we have some information up for him that we'll put up on the screen a little bit later. And so he is back. Please again welcome Jacqueline Nazaire.
All right, I apologize with the technology. We are living in the virtual world. Again, my name is Jacqueline Nazaire. I am a herbalist, a naturopathic herbalist. Thank you, Yolanda, for the warm welcome, and thank you for having me in the Metamorphosis conference. It's a pleasure to be here. I have so much to talk about today. I am a you know. I would prefer the segment where I was live with you guys, so I could address and see you guys. But this is the platform that we're using. And it is what it is. So today I want to talk about health. So when we're talking about health, we can't talk about health without looking at the spirit, the spiritual side, the soul, and the body. Um, uh, um, you know, Traditional medicine, they focus on the body, but through our practices, through our experience, we have found out that when it comes to health, there's a lot of factors that affect health, and usually it's start in the spiritual realm. So the first question I will ask the audience is, if someone comes to you and asks you, who are you? Right? I guess it's a simple question. Who are you? Most of the time, we will say, you will mention your name. You will mention, where you're from. You will mention, what you do for a living, so on and so forth. But here, when we talk about who are you, we refer to, what's the reason that you even exist? Like, why you here? How come, if for those that study, that took biology, we learn that in biology that, when fertilization when a man and woman come together doing fertilization, that the men release millions and billions of sperm. How is it possible that you right, you were the first one that actually reached the egg, and you came into existence? So you are not. So what I'm trying to say is, you are not a mistake, right? So you are here for a reason. You are here for a purpose, right? And you were created in God's. You were created in God's image. So what does that mean? So I'm not here to preach you, but I want to get that. I want to plant that seed. So when we start talking about, we look at different disease and how your body functions, so you can understand, so you can make the connection. That's why I'm going that route. So in Genesis, it talks about that God created man in his own image. That's a very powerful statement. What does that mean, that God created you in his own image? So therefore, if you were creating God image, that means you have the characteristics, you have the capabilities, you have you have all that, that come with, the person that actually created you, right? So having said all that, a lot of things that's happening to us, a lot of things that, that we go through, they actually start on a spiritual level. It always starts in a spiritual level, and then it manifested itself on a physical level. So that's the, I just want to put that out there first. So when we talk about the soul consists of the mind, the will, and the emotion. And we also find out through our practice that a lot of health issues that people go through, it's all in their mind. Right? It's the effect that it has on the mind, and then it manifested on a physical level. For example, you go to the doctor for screening, for a checkup, right? And the results come back. The doctor shares something with you, right? The minute that the doc let's assume that the doctor shared something negative with you. The minute that you accept what you just heard from the doctor, right? The body goes in what you call a transformation, right? You accepted whatever that person said to you, right? And now the body accepted. That's what it is. So that's why it's very important. You have to be careful with your words, right? Especially if you have children, you have to be careful what you say to them. You have to be careful how you speak to them. You have to be careful, how you address them, because your words are very powerful. Remember that God created the world and everything in it by speaking it into existence. And you yourself is an image of you are image of God. So when you speak, right, things, the universe, the universe, come together, and those things, get manifested to whatever you just spoke into existence. So we all, like, Dr. Johnson, I really enjoyed that presentation earlier. We are living in a time where there's a lot of things going on, due to the COVID, and a lot of people being affected. She mentioned how the suicide rate's going up, how people just losing their mind because of all the things that's being thrown at them. But it's again, that's because it all starts in the mind. So that's one aspect of it. Another thing is the emotional side that affects health. We are spiritual being, right? I don't have to hurt you by physically punching you. I could say something to you. I could say something to you, and it affects you. So that's how that's how you can make that connection, that through emotion, things it could affect an aspect of your body, so on and so forth. And later, when we talk about how the glands and the organs and the system, how they operate, right? And at times, certain disease, certain health issues that we have, it's there's an emotion aspect to it. It could be something someone said to you as a child. It could be something that happened to your mother while you were in the womb. It could be something, it could be something that traumatized you, and your teen. Sure enough, about a week ago, I had a client that came to me. She was losing her ear. She was losing her hearing. Right. So through my technique, body talks. Again, what body talks is, you can research it. And also, I combine. Body talk with kinesiology. So body talk is a technique where we tap. We able to tap into your energy field, which we all have. All living things actually do have. As a matter of fact, all matter has energy field. So we're able to tap that into that energy field, and we able to get responses through that energy field to see what's going on. So basically, this young lady, nice young lady, she came to me. She was she was losing her hearing, and she been through the doctors. They did surgery, so on and so forth. And the thing, her range, is, gotten worse. Going through them. So finally, we always the last resort. By the way, all right. People, it's understandable, because not a lot of people understand. Herbs, naturopathic, that route. And there's a lot of and there has been a lot of misconception also out there. So we get all that. So we always get the people at the last stage of whatever they're going through, they always come to us, and thank God that we able to help them. So back to this woman, she was actually losing her hearing, and come to find out, after the technique, the reason her loss of hearing was a situation that she actually went through as a child. When she was 12 years old, her father was actually, a drug addict. Her father used to take her to the, to the drug spot or whatever to get high. And that emotion of just seeing that, and her father being abusive, so she shut, in the spiritual realm, she shut the father out. And as now she's all grown up, right? That energy stayed with her, and as a result, that she losing that sound. So the minute she didn't even tell me none of this stuff, right? So I'm like, did you have an issue with, as a young child, and something happened, and she immediately, I said that, she started crying. Come to find out, I'm like, okay, it's okay, you could share with me. This is because that's part of your, that's part of your healing process. And sure enough, she said she literally disowned her father. Her father's still alive. She haven't talked to her father for years. And come to find out that I told her that you need, that's what's going on. First of all, God didn't create you to hold grudges. God didn't create you to hate anyone. God, everything that God created was good, right? Your father had a situation that, he went through life or whatever. And now, so that's his story. That's his situation. But like your inner self, need that connection, that fatherly connection. And sure enough, she reached out to the father, and things are progressing for her. So I shared that just to say that sometimes a lot of things that's happening to us, there's some energy behind it. There's some emotion. There's some, it's mental. And if you could control those two, if your health, besides obviously proper dieting, exercising, drinking water, the stuff the doctors tell you to do, right? Besides all those things, that you could actually be in good health. So I just shared all that. So now we're about to dive into the communication of the organs and glands. So this is how your body works based on the technique that we study. So your organs, your glands, and the system, they in order for them to function properly, right? There has to be communication within them. And certain glands control certain organs. Certain organs control other organs. So what that means is, at times, you might, let's say, for example, you have a heart issue. The heart might not be the problem, right? There's a gland that controls the heart. So what makes our technique so effective is that we able to get to the root of the issue. We able to get to the root of the issue to find what the real cause of the issue is, and relieve that energy that's affecting it. So so you could have so the issue could be solved. So for example, let's start with the glands. So we have what you call you have several glands. So we're gonna start with the pineal gland. The pineal gland is a gland in your brain area. It controls the organ that is responsible for, or the organs that it controls, is the liver. The pineal gland control the liver. So if you are someone that's in the liver, we're gonna go deep into each organ in a minute. But the liver produces what you call a chemical called melatonin. So if you are someone that that having sleep issues, right? That's something that you might want to look into, right? You might want to look into your pineal gland. There might not be some communication that's actually happening, that's not taking place between the pineal gland and the liver. And again, some of those things could be in a spiritual level, right? Some of them could be in your mind, and some of them could be emotion. And also if vision issues, right? If you have your eyesight going wrong, that the pineal gland also controls that, and also the liver also control that. The best herbs I hope you guys are taking some notes. The best herb to help the pineal gland is sage, SAGE, and alfalfa. Sage and alfalfa helps, they help support the pineal gland, which controls which controls the liver. Again, why the herbs so important? Again, if you go back to scriptures, originally when God created men, right, He gave them herbs as food. He gave them plants. He gave them fruits as food. It's not until after men fall that we were we started eating meat and certain diets and things like that. So herbs itself has like an energy in it that actually helps the human body. The next gland that we're going to look at is the pituitary gland. They usually say that's the father of all gland. The pituitary gland control what you call the kidneys. The kidneys. So if you are someone that has lower back issues, if you frequent urination, the kidneys are usually the cause of those things. And also the pituitary gland, the control eyesight also. So again, we see that it's possible that multiple glands control other symptoms. And also the best herbs for the pituitary gland is parsley, alfalfa, and sage. Parsley, alfalfa, and sage. Also, the pituitary gland control what you call the thyroid. All right, the thyroid. A lot of people that have thyroid issues, at times, if you go for a thyroid check, you might, there's a possibility that they might not pick that up. But however, the best way to identify if you have a thyroid issue, if at night your hands and the bottom of your feet are always cold, right? These are the signs, right? If your hand and the bottom of your feet are always cold, it's usually a thyroid. It's usually a thyroid issue. And thyroid also control what you call the blood supply, the energy level in the body. So if also thyroid control weight, right? So if you've been trying to lose weight for a long time and you're unable to do that, you might wanna check your thyroid. Thyroid also control the heart, right? Thyroid and the kidney also controls the thyroid. A lot of women that have issues with pregnancy, right? These two organs, you might want to look at them: the thyroid and the kidney. The thyroid, controls the ovulation, for the ovaries to be released, and the kidneys itself control the thyroid. You see how that works? The best gland for the thyroid is kelp. You could also take dulse, because the thyroid has, the water, it needed what you call dulse. It needed iodine in order to function properly. So a lot of time, if your thyroid not functioning properly, it's a lack of the iodine mineral that needs, that needs attention. The next gland that we're gonna look at is your thymus gland. Your thymus gland is right here, right below your neck, right above right in the center of your sternum bone. This gland control your immune system. Your immune system. The thymus gland also produce what you call the T cell, the lymphocytes, and it also help build up muscles in your system. So if you someone that has immune issues, you're always getting sick, so on and so forth, that's a gland that you might that you might want to check out, that you might want to look into. The best herbs to use for the thymus gland is thyme J, and zinc. Thyme J and zinc. You can find these in any herbal store. In particular, the herbal store that works for me, that I get my products from, are called Nurture Sunshine and Pure Herbs. So a lot of these herbs that's where I get them. So you could always You can always ask more at the end of the session if you want to ask question how to get these herbs. We are available to do that. The next gland that we're going to look at is what you call the adrenal glands. Adrenal glands sit right on top of the kidneys. A lot of issues with asthma. Through my practice, that a lot of people come through me through asthma. We find out that the adrenal glands are the main cause of those. One of the main cause of asthma. The asthma also the adrenal glands controls the heart, and also controls the lungs. Right, the adrenal gland control the heart and the lungs. So you could see that if you have a heart issue, right? It might be there's different things that's causing you to have that heart issue. So that this is why this technique is effective, that we able to tap into that energy to find out what, we go to the root of the problem, what's actually causing that. So the best herbs for the adrenal glands is, and also if you have wheezing, asthma, the adrenal glands are usually the effect of that. The best herbs for the adrenal glands is pentonic acid. The next gland that we're going to look at is the pancreas, which is a huge one, especially in the African American community with diabetes. What's so special about the pancreas? One thing that we find out as far as the emotion that usually affect the pancreas is the emotion of worry, right? Worry, panicking, right? So again, that's an energy that affects the pancreas. And the function of the pancreas is to produce what you call insulin, for the body to level out the sugar and things like that in the body. And when the pancreas is affected, when it's under a lot of stress, right? When it's under a lot of stress, it tends to cause diabetes and also affect the glycogen in the body. The best herb for the pancreas is you can use chromium, or there's another herb called blood sugar that helps level the blood sugar in your system, and the pancreatic enzyme that helps the pancreas. The next gland that we're going to look at is the ovaries. The ovaries, that's a lot of women, they take when they take birth control. So what that does is stop the release of the the eggs that your body is to release every month. We find out that a lot of women that come to us with pregnancy issues, it's a clog. It's like too much aluminum, right? That affects the ovaries. That sits in the ovaries. As a result, it's not that there's been buildup of aluminum and things like that affect the flow, that affects the delivery of the eggs. And also the ovaries, at times they could the best herb for the ovaries is red raspberry. What that would do, it will clean, and blue vervain, it will clean the ovary tubes, and also the uterus. It will clean those organs out. And for the someone asks what's best to take if you are having issues with your cervix. There's a lot of things that could cause the cervix issue. It could be structure. A lot of things that we finding out too, the body structure, first of all, the body structure are there to keep the organs in the natural location. So when either through a car accident, a bad fall, or a lot of ladies. I know you guys like your heels, things like that. Those sometimes they throw what you call the body structures off. So sometimes the cervix, the cervix, it's sometimes it's due to the certain structures being off. And in particular, you have the coccyx bone and the tailbone that's putting pressure on the cervix that cause it to sometimes to be off. But the best herb, you could take some herb like cranberry bark or false unicorn, right, to actually help the whole reproductive system. And as far as the gentleman, you have the testicles and the prostate. Very important. The prostate, I know, when you hit a certain age, they tell you to go and get the prostate test. You have to be careful. I'm not saying do not go take that test. But however, I'm sharing with you, with my experience has been. So at times, if we don't have any gentlemen on the call, it's all women, but I could speak for myself. So when the men go take that test, what the doctor usually take their hand and put it in their part and to test. I guess they test them to see if there's any growth and things like that, if it's in the right place. And that time, the examination itself tend to push the prostate out of place. And as a result, now you have a prostate that's not sitting, it's structure wise, it's imbalanced, right? It's not functioning as it's supposed to. So one way to identify if your prostate is weak or not functioning the way it's supposed to is obviously the PSI test will tell you that. But on a physical level, if you frequent urination. So if for the men, for the ladies that your husband, if your husband, if he pees at night, and particularly at night, right? You might want to ask them to get the prostate check. There's other factors that could cause you to frequent urination, but as far as the prostate, that's one of them. And also over protein. If you're someone that eat a lot of meat, right? At times that could also affect your prostate. The best herb to take for the prostate is saw palmetto or zinc. Those will help the prostate. So I had numerous clients that come to me with the prostate. The first thing I do is ask the body what's causing the prostate to function, not functioning the way it's supposed to. And once it could be structure, it could be emotion, right? So a lot of times too, for the men, if they've been abusive in the past in relationship with women, that energy from that relationship, it sits in the prostate. So at times, that affects the prostate also. So be careful out there. If you ever had if you having prostate issue, you might want to go back and make peace to your past relationship. So what herbs we recommend for uterine fibroids? That's another one. I'm glad you brought that up because I almost forgot it. Fibroids, again, when we talk about energy, all right? So fibroids is interesting. Most women that you find out, well, in my practice, most women with fibroids, it's either, again, for the men it's the prostate, for the woman it's usually a bad relationship in the past, so they're not letting go of that energy, and as a result, that's one aspect of it. Also, fibroids could be caused by too much toxic aluminum in the system, right? So the best herb for fibroids, there's a herb called TC2. TC2. You could also use party alcohol. They have it in capsules. They have it in tea. You could use it. If it's the toxic, if it's aluminum, that will help it'll serve as a cleansing for that. But again, the you could do all that if there's an energy aspect to it, emotion aspect to it. If you don't address that, right? If you don't address that, it's not gonna be resolved. And at times, I seen people that that go and get the fibroid removed surgically, right? And it comes back. It comes back. Why? Because that energy is still there. That energy is still there. So that's for the glands. That's for the glands in the body. The glands are the communication system of the body. So again, it's the glands that has to communicate to the organs, so they could function the way they're supposed to function. So if there's a cut, or if there's a mal signaling with the glands to the organs, right? That message is not going to go through, so on and so forth. So that's the function of the glands in the system. So now we're going to look at the we kind of talked about them, how the glands affect them. Now we're going to look at the organs, right? So the organs are again located throughout your body. The first one we're going to look at is the heart. The heart. Again, we said that the heart, if you have a heart issue, there's a lot of things that could affect your heart. Besides diet, beside proper diet, beside exercising, beside clogged arteries, besides all the stuff that doctors tell you. Okay, but we find out that you could do all those things, but you still have a heart issue, right? That's because there's other things that could affect them. Let's start with the emotion piece, right? So if you someone that had that's been abandoned, right? That has you always sad, or even sometimes if you're too happy, right? That could affect your heart. If you hold grudges, right? If someone did like my students used to say, someone did you dirty, right? Or did something wrong to you, and you hold that energy, right? You hold that energy, that could also affect your heart. That's why the Bible said, God knows when God speak and tell you something in the scriptures, there's a reason why he's saying that to you. That's why the Bible says you should never go to bed with someone in your heart. Why? Because that your heart could stop, right? That energy could actually stop your heart. So if you have hatred for someone, if you're insecure, if you are if you felt abandoned, things like that, those could have an effect on your heart. And also around your heart, you have what you call the pericardium, which is the muscle of the heart. At times, it might not be the heart to say, it might be the muscle around the heart that needs strengthening. That's not functioning properly, and as a result, you could have they say you have heart issues, but it might just be the muscles. And then you have what you call the triple heaters, right? That's the electricity of the heart, the electricity portion of the heart. If that's not, if you're not if that's not functioning the way it's supposed to, right? So now your heart is not, is not giving out the right amount of electricity. That could also have an effect on your heart. So the best herbs to take for the heart, CoQ10, right? CoQ10. You have another herb called OCM. You have vitamin E with psyllium. You have capsicum, garlic, parsley. You could take super omega 3, so on and so forth for the heart. And also the next organ is the lungs, especially now with COVID and everything that's going on. The lungs, again, the lungs is the elimination system in the body. Let's say that first. And also the lungs are controlled by the medulla, which is a gland. They're controlled by the medulla, controlled by the adrenals, controlled by the thymus, controlled by the spleen, controlled by the large intestine, controlled by the cranium. So if you ever hit your head and things like that, and there's some imbalance in the head structure, that could have an effect on your lungs. If you your spleen, another organ, very important, that control your kidneys. The spleen control your kidneys. The spleen is another filter, blood filter in the system, right? So if you someone that have knee issues and things like that, you always knee issues, or joint issues. That's because the spleen is not communicating to the kidneys to remove what you call the uric acid in the bones. I have 5 minutes, so I want to get the other organs out the way. Then you have the bladder. The bladder is another one. The bladder is part is so if you touch your lower abdomen and you push it down, if that hurts, that it's your bladder. And also if there's any urine infection disease and a virus, it could affect the bladder. If you are someone that that holds if you're someone that holds fear, peeved, horror, and dread, conflict, terror, you feel like you're not supported, right? That could have an effect on both your bladder and your kidney. And the last thing that I'm gonna mention is the large intestine. The large intestine is part of your colon. Your colon is part of your large intestine. And the large intestine, in order for it to function properly, it needs water, right? So if you're not drinking proper water and things like that, it will affect your large intestine. If you if you're holding grudges, right? If you're not letting go of certain situation, it can have an effect on your large intestine. The best herbs to take for the large intestine, well, one, you need to drink water per your body weight. I think based on your body weight, you're supposed to drink certain amount of bottled water. And also one of the herbs for the large intestine that you could take is if you're someone that's that have issues going to the bathroom, that's actually your large intestine. One of the best herbs to take for the large intestine is liquid chlorophyll. If you take chlorophyll, that helps. If you could also take LBS capsules to help you go, slippery elm, so on and so forth to help you go. So I have 2 minutes just to wrap it up. So so your health is just not what you see on a physical level. What you see in a physical level is your body speaking to you. So if you woke up this morning with a headache, right? That's your body trying to talk to you. Hey, it's something going on within me. I need you to address it. But it gives you the symptom of a headache, so on and so forth. But why you having a headache? It could be multiple reasons. Maybe it could be emotional. It could be something in the spiritual realm. So that's why it's always good to before you go to bed, before you leave your house and things like that, to address your Creator. Thank him for waking you up, starting your way. Ask him to protect you before you go to sleep, because even when you sleep, right, your body's at rest, but your spirit is is in activities. That's why you have dreams, right? Sometimes you have dreams, you have certain dreams, and when you wake up, it is as if like you were actually in it. That's because you were. That's your spiritual self. So just keep in mind that you are 3-part. You have your physical part, you have the spiritual part, and you have the soul part. And when it comes to health, you have to address all these things. Hopefully, everything that that I shared with you, I know is a lot. I know I went through it, boom, 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 and things like that. We are available. Yolanda, reach out to Yolanda. She will share my information. If you want to come for a consultation, we are available, and we could go through the technique with you to identify some of the things that's going on in your system. And I believe that is my time. And thank you once again. Thank you for having me.
Wow. You listen, Nazaire, you already know we have to have you back. We have to have you back. I have to have you do another one, because you were just really getting into the crux of everything um, while we had to log off. Time goes by so fast, and I wish I had given a lot of more time for this for you, because the body is a complex creature, and there's so many different things that we need to know. But there was a question that I did want to address in the comments, that I don't think was posted. There was a question about the fibromyalgia. For fibromyalgia, where is that connected to, and what herbs do you recommend for that?
Okay, for fibromyalgia, the best herb to use for that is thyroid activator. All right, so the thyroid, um, again, the thyroid control the oxygen level in your system and things like that. Control weight, controls the heart. So you could take thyroid activity for that, and you could also take calcium plus vitamin D. So it could be a mineral issue. So you could take calcium plus vitamin D, and also I'll be quick, Yolanda.
No, you're
So
fine.
certain things that you take too, right? You could actually ask your body, right? Is this good for me? The best
I've
way,
heard you say that.
the best way to do that. I mean, I have my ways because I've been doing this for so well. But for someone out there that's listening that has no idea what I'm talking about, if you actually hold, let's say for example, you have an apple in your hand, right? You take the apple. I mean, this could be homework for any for anybody that's listening. You take the apple, you hold it to your heart. You hold the apple to your heart, and you stand straight. In your mind, you saying, "Is this apple good for me?" Right. So in your mind, you asking your subconscious. So now you talking to your subconscious. Remember that every answer to every question, you were created with it. So that the mind is very powerful. That's how your mind is. And sometimes it's been studied that we only use 5% of our mind, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So the mind has all the answers to your body. So you just hold it to your heart. You say in your mind, is this apple healthy for me? Is this apple good for me? And then two things gonna happen. The minute you said that, you're gonna observe you either going your body going forward or your body going backward. So that's
Yes.
your answer. If it goes forward, that's a yes. If it goes backward, that's a no. And you could do that for anything. You could do that for anything. If it's someone that if it's a new relationship, you just write the person name down. You put in your heart. Is this person the right person for me? Right? Because your subconscious knows the answer. Remember before you were created, right? Before you begin, before you begin, you end it, right? God only
Right.
created the world once. God only
Absolutely.
God only created the world once. So you have all the answers to every question. It's just a matter of how you get the answers.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm so grateful. I have seen you do that. I've seen you actually do that in serving other people. Let me tell you something, ladies. I'm gonna get ready to mention Nazaire information. You can definitely contact him yourself. If you forget the information, you can definitely contact me. Again, this is someone that I go to. I need to make an appointment and go as well. And it's really good to go once a month. Once you get your systems the way that they're supposed to go. Um, you know, it's it's not covered by insurance. Let me just say that right up front. But it's worth the investment within yourself to go down, get the consultation, and see what's going on in your body. I promise you, the doctors don't. The westernized medicine doesn't know everything. They're not in tune to your body the way you are, and they're not in listening to the body. Don't have this body talks tool that he uses. And so he never said anything about don't take your medication or anything like that. I'll be the first person to let you know that he doesn't say that to you when you go to him. He says, continue to take your medicine, but at least find out what's going on within you so that you don't have to stay on the medicine. Okay. Because the medicine, again, is treating the symptoms. It's not treating the cure. So if you want to reach out to Dr. Nazaire, to Nazaire, excuse me, he's on Facebook at Jacqueline Nazaire. You can see his name in the on the screen, Jacqueline Nazaire. Okay, and then on IG he is at Jacqueline Nazaire. Same thing, at Jacqueline Nazaire. Okay. And
Some,
go ahead.
the director asked me to say the Apple thing again. Essentially,
Yes.
he called it the Apple thing. All
Oh,
right, but
yes.
you could actually do it with anything. So basically, what I was saying is, if you want to know the answer to something, right? You just take it in your hand, you hold it to your heart, and your mind, right? You ask the question: can I eat this apple? Is this apple gonna benefit for me? Is this apple good for me? Or whatever. You don't have to say all that stuff. You could just say, is this apple good for me? And two things gonna happen to your body immediately. So obviously, the more you do it, the more the energy gonna be. Get right. But what I want you to pay attention to, if you're new to this, if you're not a spiritually in tune person, you're gonna observe two things. Slightly, your body gonna move forward, or your body gonna move backward, right? So if your body move forward, whatever you was holding, it's saying yes. If I take this in, it's good for me. If it moves backward, it's saying I wouldn't recommend you taking this because it's gonna affect me somehow. And I guarantee you this: if you have a medicine in your house, a medical medicine in your house, and you do that technique, right? Observe what happened. I'll let you do the homework and you get back to me with that.
Yes, please do the homework. And like I said, I would love to have you back at some point for another webinar of some sort, because especially with you're a minister yourself, you are an associate pastor or pastor as well. And so, the body of Christ, well, I'm going to say the church. I won't say the body of Christ. Some people in the church, they distort this or misunderstand this type of practice. Many people think that it's witchcraft. Many people want to label it of the devil and what have you. And I think that it definitely has its place. You already quoted scripture here. You already shared, what God said. And, God said it first, as my pastor says. And so I feel very strongly that the church needs to have this information even more so, because guess what? The church is one of the sickest communities in the world. High blood pressure, all of that. And they rather deal with westernized medicine and take medicine that's really poisoning the body than get to taking what the body really needs and what we need to do to be proactive and heal and be healthy. So I wish we had more time, but I want to thank you so much for dedicating your time and for being with us today. You're the only guy that we had today, so thank you. You're the only guy that we had work with us with the conference, but it was necessary. I wanted to make sure that you are part, and I look forward to speaking with you again very soon. I'll be reaching out to you definitely, because we have some work to do as well. And so thank you so much. Ladies, I hope you can applaud virtually Jacqueline Nazaire as he bids us adieu. Thank you, Jacqueline.
Thank you.